Hey guys, welcome back. A lot of small business owners come to me when they need advice on blogging and social media and just their overall brand presence on the web. And I see some common mistakes that I want to talk about today because it tells me that a lot of folks know that they should be active on the web, blogging and social media, but they have a lack of understanding of content marketing as a whole. And what that's leading to is a lot of wasted time and money. So, one mistake that I see pretty often is that someone may write a lovely blog post and then they only share it once on Facebook and they never share it again. Another really common mistake that I see is that people will use their social networks, but they'll share too many links from news sources or scholarly articles that are relevant to their industry, or just they share too many links from sources other than their own. And then a third really common thing that I see is that some folks are just involved and engaged on too many social networks. So what I want to do real quick is share a graphic to break down the overall big picture of content marketing in the most simple of terms. And then we'll come back and address these mistakes that I see a lot. So first you have your website, right? And your website is mostly static, meaning you're not going to change your home page or your about page or your services page, all the time, but your blog page is dynamic and you're going to post new content there all the time. And I like people to answer the question, why are you even blogging? And the answer is that you're blogging and creating content to give people new reasons to come back to your site, to catch their attention with something that they're interested in or educates them. And then the hope is that they'll see that through your blog or the piece of content that you've created. And then they'll hang around on your site for a bit. Maybe they sign up for your newsletter. Maybe they buy something from you. So that's content marketing in a nutshell. Now, if you check out my graphic here, I just have in the middle column some examples of different types of content that you may create. You may write a blog post. You may create a video. You might offer an ebook or a download. Maybe you make an infographic. The list goes on and on and on. I love to do webinars and online events. Anyway, those are all pieces of content. And if you see my social icons to the right on the graphic, every single piece of content should have its own mini marketing plan. So if you create a blog post, it needs to be shared on all of your networks. If you create a webinar, you need to share it on all of your networks. So let's get back real quick to some of these common mistakes. The first one is creating a piece of content and only ever sharing it one time. If you create a piece of content that's not time sensitive and it will remain relevant and the information will remain valuable, you should schedule it out multiple times depending on the social network. A network like Facebook or Twitter, you can share multiple times without inundating your market. And this is where you really want to have an online scheduling tool. If I write a great blog post and I know it's going to be relevant for the remainder of the year, I'll just go ahead and schedule it out on Facebook at least once a quarter and even more on Twitter. So the second mistake that I talked about that I see a lot is when people are sharing other articles that don't direct back to their site. So it's great to share industry articles to show that you're always doing your own research, but you should never share other people's content more than you share your own content, because all you're doing is driving traffic to their site and not yours. And then lastly, we were talking about when people are just involved on too many social networks. I know for me personally, I can only really do a good job of managing 3 networks. Um, so I mostly participate in Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now, you choose the networks. It's up to you. Different networks lend themselves better to different industries and type of business. But the point is, don't be on too many that are just too much for you to handle. I recommend 3, 4 max is a great number. So I hope this clears up some of your questions. I also highly recommend that you check out my other video that explains a little bit more about exactly how to deploy your pieces of content across social media. And I will link that right here for you to check out. And please subscribe, and I'll see you here next time for more marketing tips for small businesses.